Hey everybody, welcome into Farm Cooking with Nan. Today, I don't have my apron on. I look a little weird, but I'm going to be making something with a few leftovers I've got. Just fixing me something for lunch. And I'm going to take a tortilla, first of all, and I'm going to turn my skillet on. You can pop this in the microwave and warm it up. I'm just going to warm it up a little bit in my skillet. Then I'm taking some of the vegetables that I had left over from a steak, and I'm just cutting these just in little strips, and I'm not going to eat all of them at once. I'm just going to take a couple of mushrooms. I thought I had about 3 mushrooms, but I didn't. I'll just slice these mushrooms up a little thin. And then I'm going to heat everything up in after I've taken out my tortilla. I'm just going to heat all this up. And cut them in smaller pieces if you want to. Love onions, but this is just going to be like a little Philly steak wrap real quick. I'm using the, this is La Banderita. I don't even know how you say it. This is like a low carb tortilla. And I'm going to flip this over real quick, and I'm going to just warm it up a little bit. Just get a few brown spots on there. And then I'm going to throw my little bit of vegetables in there in the skillet and warm them up a little bit. Like I said, you can do this in the microwave. So we're just going to sling something together real quick for me to have for lunch. I've not been getting the protein in that I need to get in, and so I want to, my steak, that's what I'm looking for. Hang on a minute, I don't think I put, yep, I set it in the microwave and did not turn it on. I don't know what I was doing. But I'm just going to take a couple pieces of steak here. I'm just going to cut it like at an angle. You can see there, I'm cutting it on the just the diagonal, just in little slithers. But why waste this whenever I can have leftovers the next day, or whatever. This one little piece will be enough. I see a little piece of gristle, a little fat there, which normally I don't get. So I'm just going to cut this up real quick, and I'll throw it in there with my few onions, and we'll just saute that together, okay? We're going to move that over here. You can see I got it just a little bit toasty. And I'm going to raise up the temperature just a little bit. I'm not even going to put any, didn't mean to put my cheese in there. Started to say I'm not even going to put any oil or anything like that. It wouldn't hurt at all for you to put a little olive oil in there or whatever you got. I'm just going to saute this a little bit because we're going to make a wrap. A wrap. So we're just going to toss this around enough to get everything good and warm. Okay, I'm going to take my wrap over here. Hope you all can see. Hang on, let me move it around. There you go. And I'm going to put just a little bit of sour cream. I had some whipped sour cream. What would really be good is if you had that cream cheese with chives in it. I don't have any right now. I'm just gonna, I love sour cream. Y'all, this is probably not a whole tablespoon on here. Ouch, touched my finger on that. Okay, now my cheese, my stuff is totally already done, I'm going to put me a piece of cheese right in the center. And then I'm going to grab a spoon or something to get my steak and onions and the few mushrooms. We're going to put that right down through the center. If I'd have thought I didn't even put my green bell peppers. I didn't even put my green bell peppers. This is way too much steak for little old Nan. But maybe I can get down half of it and eat the other half as a snack after a while. Let me get that mushroom and onion out there. Okay, I'm going to grab that little bit of pepper, and I'm going to throw that pepper in there real quick because I did mean to get the pepper in there, and I did not do it. So I'm going to grab the pepper. I need to slice it up, but I'm not going to. That will be probably plenty, I don't know. Just to warm that up a little bit, and I'll put it on my sandwich. That's way too much meat. Oh my. And that was just a tiny little piece of steak. We'll arrange that. And yes, my hands have been washed. Just got through washing dishes and putting them up. I'm just going to flop them in here long enough to warm them up. That's enough. Because I had these in the refrigerator, left over from the steak and vegetables that I did. I always save your leftovers, even if it's a little bit. You can make something good the next day with, you know? Ooh, that's hot. Do you believe it got hot that quick? I'm gonna pop this out here. Just take my knife, turn that off. Take my knife and slice that up just a little bit, okay? Now, there we go. And I'll put these nice peppers right on top. And we've got a little Philly steak wrap. I might save just a little piece of that meat for my doggies so they can have some. We've got our, let me grab, I just washed everything. Let me grab me a knife real quick. Dadgummit, gummit. You ever heard that word, dadgummit? If I had a big old snake, it would just bite me right there in front of me. Okay, I'm going to, this is way too much for this. But I've got my cheese, I've got my steak. And I'm going to roll it. And I'm going to cut it like on the diagonal. I'm going to get a pretty picture of that. Okay. Woo. I'll show y'all. Isn't that going to be a good one? I got a couple pictures. One of these, and there's some extra little vegetables there. I'll grab a spoon, a fork, but I'm just going to take a good bite of this. And if any of my vegetables, could be because I don't have it rolled up as tight as I need, but I'm going to get a bite. Father, thank you for this food. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for how good you are to us, Lord. Thank you for this day. And thank you for my followers. In Jesus' name, amen. It's so good. The cheese, the meat. You could have sat down with a, got a little ranch dressing that if I want to dip dip it in there, have a little ranch dressing, I can. But this is so good. I mean, leftovers from the night before or whatever. A good way. This really would be good for supper. Now, right now, this would be good with some Quest chips. I'm not going to show y'all. I have too many people fussing at me right now, so I'm just going to say that you could get some good protein chips and have you a couple of chips or whatever. You can take this sandwich, this wrap, dip it you don't have to have a whole lot. Just barely touch it in your ranch dressing and have a bite. I need a napkin. Willow's gonna grab me a paper towel. And that changes the whole, flavor. So, this is just a little encouragement. Save your leftover steak. I could have took that steak and sprinkled some taco seasoning on it and made it go a totally different way. But I knew I had the green bell peppers, and I knew I had the green bell peppers and the onions, the mushrooms. Why not, with a little provolone, make a little Philly steak wrap out of leftovers? Well, I want y'all to know I love you. I appreciate you so very much. And I want you to know that I always try to say how much that I love and appreciate you all for coming over and watching me, for being good to me, encouraging me, because not everybody has an encourager's heart. And there's going to be people, when I talk about using a low carb or something like that, there's going to be people that don't know what they're talking about. And they automatically want to jump on you and say things. So I'm going to try my best not to read those comments because they discourage me and they make me want to quit. But I have to keep doing this as long as the good Lord says for me to do it. So I want you to know that has nothing, the people that I had to block too last night, and when I went over to their pages, they were scammers. They were probably hiding behind somebody else's name. So, you know, don't believe everything you read on there, because there are going to be some people that are just going to, they're going to be ugly, and you just gotta let that beat off your back and go on. So don't take all that to heart. I'm trying my best not to. But I want you to know how much that I love and appreciate every kind word, everything that you all do to lift me up and to hold my arms up for me when I get down. I thank you all for that. And I praise the Lord for putting you with me and bringing us together. I think all things work together. And so please just hang on. We're, like I said, I use that low carb little tortilla there, but I hated to even show the brand because people are saying such ugly stuff. But you can go to your grocery store and look up a low carb if you want to try one. So it just cuts down. The steak is protein. The vegetables they're just free. For me, they're just free in my mind. There's certain vegetables you don't eat, or you eat in moderation, just a few. Well, I'm going to hush up. I'm rambling on, and I will talk to y'all later. I love you, and I want you to know how much the good Lord loves you. You have no idea. So I'm going to go, and I will see y'all next time, and I'm going to eat my lunch while it's warm, okay? See you next time, Lord willing.